Discover solutions to issues that affect your family and professional life with practical information to help you get past life's adversities. Take a proactive approach to power up your life with Rosalie's expert resources.
A recent survey from United Healthcare and the National Council on Aging revealed more than half of seniors described Medicare as confusing, or they didn't understand it at all. Nearly half of seniors surveyed said they never shop for coverage, and many more said their ability to evaluate Medicare coverage plans was poor. And over 2/3 of respondents were unaware of new discounts on brand name and generic drugs. Mike Anderson, Chief Pharmacy Officer at United Healthcare, the largest provider of Medicare Part D plans, joins us to bring clarity to next year's healthcare coverage. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What should seniors and other beneficiaries know about open enrollment period?
Okay. Open enrollment period begins October 15th and it runs through December 7th this year. And this is Medicare beneficiaries' opportunity to elect their 2013 coverage.
How has the Affordable Health Care Act saved seniors and other beneficiaries on the cost of their prescription drugs?
Right. The Affordable Care Act offers additional discounts to people who are in the coverage gap or the donut hole, and that's an area of the Part D benefit where drugs historically had not been covered, so people paid full price. What they have now is the opportunity to access discounts, and those discounts are significant. In the case of brand name medicines, for example, people get a discount of over 50%.
Uninformed seniors fell in the donut hole because of not choosing the right plan, and it cost them thousands of dollars by the end of the year to fill these prescriptions they needed, or they had to do without. So what tips can you share to help seniors to sort through the dozens of available Part D plans to meet their health needs as well as their budget?
Right, this is really important. So there are some tips I'd like to share. And first of all, I'd encourage people to look at the coverage they have today and determine if anything significant has changed. And there are really three main things I'd ask people to look at. One is the cost of the plan, and that's really not just the premium, it's also the co-payments that people would have under their plan. The second is the drug list or the formulary. This is the list of drugs that your plan covers. And that can change year over year, so it's important that people look to make certain that the drugs they take today will remain covered in 2013. And finally, the pharmacy network. This is the list of pharmacies that the member can access during the benefit year next year in 2013. There's something that's becoming more common called a preferred pharmacy network, which is something that many plans offer, including United Healthcare.
What resources are out there to help seniors feel more confident in choosing the right Part D plan?
Your local pharmacist is a really good place to start. People think of pharmacists as drug therapy experts. They're also health insurance experts, and they understand Medicare very well. So I'd encourage people to use your local pharmacist. There are also government resources available. Medicare.gov is a website that I'd encourage people to check out. There's also a 1-800 number if people prefer to talk to someone over the phone, 1-800-MEDICARE. That's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And finally, if people want to look for a website that takes some of the complexity out of Medicare, I'd encourage them to look at MedicareMadeClear.com. That site is a really good overview of Medicare for people who are newer to the subject or just don't understand it.
Thanks, Mike, for a great healthcare coverage discussion. Ron Darling, Emmy Award-winning broadcaster and former New York Mets teammate, knows the pain of losing a dear friend when Gary Carter, Major League Baseball Hall of Fame catcher, lost his 10-month battle with an aggressive brain tumor. As a tribute to Gary, Mr. Darling has teamed up with Dr. Andrew Lassman, Chief of Neuro-Oncology at New York Presbyterian Hospital, to educate and raise awareness of how to help support a loved one diagnosed with a brain tumor. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, how are you, Rose?
Good morning.
Doctor, what are the most common signs and symptoms of a brain tumor?
So the symptoms really depend a lot on where the tumor is located, and so there can be a lot of different signs in different people. However, I think some of the most common signs that affect a lot of different people are headaches, difficulty with balance, forgetfulness, and some very abrupt symptoms such as seizures. Now, a lot of people have headaches, and most of those people don't have a brain tumor. A lot of different causes of headaches. So I think that the most important aspect is if the symptoms are new, different, or changing in some way, that should prompt more urgent medical attention.
What a horrific moment it must be for a patient that receives the diagnosis of having a brain tumor. What advice as a physician do you give to these patients after they're diagnosed?
Well, I think I would give two main pieces of advice. First, find a physician whom you trust, that you can establish what I would call a therapeutic alliance, and can ask questions. Second, form a support network of friends and family, people to come with you to appointments. Most of my patients come with 3, 4, sometimes 6 or more people, and that's fine. I think that having people that can come with you, ask questions on your behalf that you might not think of, take notes, and be there for you during your care, this is another important aspect.
Mr. Darling, why is it so important to you to help create awareness of how to help a loved one that has been diagnosed with a brain tumor?
Well, it's just so important for me. You know, I lost a great friend, a former teammate, and also just such a great guy. Dr. Lastman was talking about Gary, just full of life, and luckily, and more importantly, gotten together with Merck and these moments that matter to make sure that if you do get a diagnosis of a brain tumor or glioblastoma, that you are able to make those last moments matter. Gary is just an amazing guy, and I think even though he's passed away, he's reaching out in this initiative to make sure that there's awareness, and that if you are not feeling, or if you are feeling some of the symptoms that Dr. Lastman talked about, that you'll definitely see a physician and get help.
How did you help Gary and the loved ones around him?
Well, I think that's the hard part, isn't it? Is that I don't know, you don't know sometimes if you're helping. I think the key for any family member or friend is just to be there, just to make sure, and that's what I did with Gary, is just to make sure that he knew that I was there at all times, 24/7. And I think you really let the patient lead. When they need you, they will reach out to you, as long as you let them know that you're there for them anytime they need you.
Where can we get more information?
Well, I think for me, not everyone knew Gary like I know him. You know, they know him as the Hall of Fame baseball player, but he was such an amazing and sweet person. And if you want to find out more about the moments that mattered and the people that mattered to him at the end of his life, you can go to, you know, Gary Carter Foundation or GaryCarter.org. I know, Dr. Lastman, you have some places for people to go to get support also.
Sure. So in addition to our own site at Columbia University Medical Center, there are some good sources of information. In addition to speaking to your doctor, I think a broad internet search for brain tumors is typically something that's more overwhelming than helpful, but there are some other organizations such as Voices Against Brain Cancer, American Brain Tumor Association, National Brain Tumor Society, among others, that are good sources for friends and family and patients.
Thank you both for coming on this morning with this tribute to Gary Carter.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Over 1.3 million Floridians have diabetes, and about 400,000 Floridians have diabetes and don't even know about it. Over 2.5 million obese Floridians are at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. If you or a family member has diabetes, we have valuable information you'll need to know when we return.
Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Lead paint poisoning affects 1 million children today. If you're pregnant or have young children and your home was built before 1978, you could be at risk. Learn how to protect your family. To find your home's danger zones, the health effects, or just to find help, log on to leadfreekids.org.
The number of patients diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in the United States continues to grow. According to the American Diabetes Association, nearly 26 million people in the United States have type 2 diabetes, with approximately 5.5 million depending on daily insulin injections to help them control and manage their diabetes. Here with lifestyle tips to help type 2 diabetics overcome obstacles in diabetes management with groundbreaking new treatment is Dr. Cheryl Rosenfeld, endocrinologist, and Angela Gaskins, who has a long family history in diabetic management. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Dr. Rosenfeld, what life-threatening health risks are associated with diabetes?
So, patients who have diabetes are often subjected to complications if they don't control their blood sugars, such as cardiovascular disease, stroke, loss of sensation in their limbs, blindness, and kidney failure.
We all have friends or relatives who've died from diabetes. My grandmother died of diabetes, just like yours, Angela.
Absolutely. My mother and both grandparents died from complications from diabetes. I've had diabetes for over 20 years, and over the last 20 years there's been many advancements in diabetes, and managing diet and exercise and taking my medication on time has been a challenge for me. So I'm loving the new advancements that have come out recently, and I'm now able to take my insulin on time and hopefully ward off some of those complications.
Shortly after my mother died, my father was diagnosed with diabetes and vascular disease, and then 2 leg amputations. People don't realize how brutal and debilitating diabetes really is.
We actually tend to start insulin much earlier in the course of diabetes than we used to. We don't wait until the complications set in. So if someone's blood sugars are uncontrolled, we will often start the insulin way before we used to. And we have many new devices that enable us to start insulin successfully on patients.
Angela, after watching your family members die from diabetes, did you become more proactive?
Right now, my daughter is 19 years old, and I'm working still full-time, and I'm using a new device called a Vigo. And a Vigo is a completely disposable insulin delivery device that allows me to put it onto an area where I would normally give an injection. It's about the size of a Tic Tac box, and I get insulin all day long, as though my pancreas was giving me insulin. And so then when I'm ready to have a meal, I'm able to reach over to an area like my stomach or my arm, wherever I have the device, and I'm actually able to push a button and deliver insulin before my meal. And it has made things much easier for me. It's controlled my helped control my blood sugars much more effectively.
Dr. Rosenfeld, what stage would a patient receive therapy like Angela is taking?
Well, we don't look at it in stages. We look at it in terms of control. So if the blood sugars are out of control and they're taking their medications, they're following their diet, they're exercising, we actually will give them insulin a whole lot sooner. There's a variety of different devices that are available, and it's all about patient preference and what is going to make their lives easier, what they're able to work with.
Where can our viewers get more resources to better understand type 2 diabetes and management?
Absolutely. So if they're interested in the device that Angela just mentioned, they can go on a website called www.govigo, that's go-vgo.com, and learn about the continuous insulin delivery device. And there are certainly other websites that are available. If they go on diabetes.org, they can certainly learn a whole lot more about the disease. That's the American Diabetes Association's website.
Thank you, ladies, for sharing this most important health information.
Thanks for having us.
Influenza is a serious respiratory illness that can lead to hospitalization and even death. Because everyone is at risk of contracting and spreading influenza, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends annual vaccination for everyone 6 months of age and older. Actress and mother Sarah Chalk, widely known for her role as a doctor on the TV hit series Scrubs, has teamed up with real-life physician Dr. Edelman and the American Lung Association. Sarah, tell us about the Faces of Influenza campaign and how you got involved.
I get the flu vaccine every year, have for probably the last 2 decades, and as a result, don't get the flu. And it's something that I really believe in. I think a lot of people don't realize how serious influenza is, and that there are many deaths in the United States every year, and the best thing you can do to protect yourself is to get vaccinated. And there's an awesome website, facesofinfluenza.org, where you can go to find out more about the flu and how to get vaccinated and actually hear other people's stories whose lives have been dramatically affected by the flu.
Dr. Edelman, how does a person catch influenza?
The influenza bug is very, very communicable. So you just breathe in the germ from somebody who sneezes or coughs, or you pick it up on your hands from something somebody else has picked up. It spreads very, very quickly. And like most viral infections, the people who spread it most are kiddies. So your children will bring it home from school with them and infect the rest of the family. That's why we want families to know the entire family needs to be vaccinated against the flu, especially the youngsters.
So how do we know the distinction between a bad cold and having the flu?
It's really worse than a cold. The flu gives you aches and pains and headaches, and you know, you just want to go to bed and stay there for a couple of days. It's a respiratory problem. People get coughs and difficulty breathing. And, you know, most people, it'll keep them away from work. It'll keep the kids out of school. So it's a serious illness.
How many deaths are caused by influenza each year?
Well, it varies depending on the season. It may be as low as 3,000. It may be as high as 49,000. But it's not just death. You know, almost 230,000 people get hospitalized each year because of flu and its complications.
So, doctor, how safe and effective is the vaccine? You know, I heard in the past that you can get the flu from having the vaccine. Is that true?
No, it's not true, absolutely. The vaccine is very, very effective. It's not 100%, but it's highly effective, and it is the best way to protect yourself. It is absolutely safe. The vaccine does not cause the flu, and it causes very, very minor side effects, a little soreness in the arm. People sometimes think that they get the flu after a vaccination because, after all, they get vaccinated during cold season. So if they get a cold a week or two after they get vaccinated, they think they got the flu from the shot. But they have not. We've shown that quite clearly.
Thanks so much for sharing your resources to remind everyone to get the flu vaccine and keep the workplace and home as germ-free as possible.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for your time.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Did you miss out on your summer vacation? Well, great news. The fall season offers the best values of the year for traveling. Joining us today is Julia Diamond, travel junkie Julia. Yes, she's here with some words of the wise. She's been traveling and visiting more than 80 countries in all 7 continents, and she's here with some great travel advice for great deals. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning.
What are some tips for families that missed their summer vacation and have a real small budget just trying to get away before the holidays?
Yeah, in terms of family travel, you really want to look online. This is a great resource where you can follow some of your favorite brands, either hotels or airlines on Facebook and Twitter. And often that's where you're going to get deals that you won't find anywhere else. Also take advantage of online contests. AFLAC, for example, the Cancer Center in Atlanta, is offering a chance to win a trip for 4 to Orlando, Florida. All you have to do is go online, aflac.com/friends. You make a $12 donation. You get a cute rubber ducky and a chance to win a trip to Orlando. And you also give back and help children with cancer.
So what are some must-haves that are affordable when you travel?
When I travel, I always pack an airport survival kit. So we're talking snacks, an empty water bottle that I fill through airport security on the other side. Saves me money, keeps me hydrated, and it's also important to stay connected. So the Virgin Mobile Broadband to Go Overdrive is a very handy hotspot. You can connect up to 5 devices. It works on 3G, 4G, no contract, month to month, and that's handy, especially as a travel writer. You know, I need to stay connected all the time.
So if you want to take the kiddies to see Grandma for the holidays, should we start planning for the holidays now?
It's never too early to make those holiday travel plans. And there are some online resources like Kayak, Momondo, Expedia, Airfare Watchdog. These are all the places that you want to look for flights. Also, there's a great resource called yapta.com, and what that does is you can actually predict whether or not you should buy your flights now or later. It'll also help you track any flight changes in the fare. So if all of a sudden your flight fare drops, it can help you get some money back. So that's yapta.com, which is also helpful. So book early, fly midweek, book midweek, look at alternative airports. All some tips in order to save some money when you're flying. TripsOnTV.com and also my website, TravelJunkieJulia.com. That's where you can find some more information.
The U.S. Energy Information Administration estimates the United States holds over 2,500 trillion cubic feet of technically recoverable natural gas resources, and 33% is held in shale rock formations. America's need to be energy independent from foreign oil has never been greater. We're all feeling the pain at the pump. So what's the answer to energy independence for America? Chris Faulkner, CEO of Breitling Oil and Gas, is here to share how America can stop their reliance on foreign oil and bring back jobs to the U.S.
When you look at where America's at today, we've found over 200 years worth of natural gas supplies, and we're also generating 6 million barrels of crude oil production per day in this country. Now, we're still short 13 million barrels a day and rely upon the Middle East. But right now, America has enough natural gas to supply our markets and potentially put America in the seat of energy supplier to Europe and China, and that'd be a great position from where we're currently at today.
So, Chris, how can an abundance of energy positively affect America's competitiveness?
The oil and gas industry today supports 9.2 million jobs. Now, along the way to American energy independence by 2020, we expect to employ another 1 million jobs. And let's look at North Dakota, for example, what I call the poster child of oil and gas. Areas of North Dakota where we're drilling in the Bakken Shale have unemployment rates of less than 2%. We're adding jobs left and right in those communities, and North Dakota, for the first time, has a $2 billion surplus in their budget. They don't even know where to spend the money. All of that is coming from oil and gas revenue and the taxes that we're paying. How great would it be if we could replicate what's happening in North Dakota to other parts of this country? Energy could put America back on the map.
So how many jobs would be created as a result of gas drilling technology?
We've already seen the impact that natural gas can have on attracting companies back to the United States. Dow Chemical just announced they're going to move a plant back to the United States and insource 10,000 new jobs for that plant. The single reason they decided to come back to America? Cheap and abundant natural gas. I suspect Dow Chemical is the first of many companies planning to move back to America and create new jobs.
Chris, tell us, how safe is gas drilling currently, and is the industry increasing the safety component to prevent oil spills?
Extracting natural gas from the ground is safe, and I'll tell you how it is. A lot of folks say, what is this fracking? Is this new? I haven't heard a lot about it. But the reality is the first well was fracked in the Houghton field in Kansas in 1941. And since that time, over 1.2 million wells have been safely fracked in the United States. And I can tell you that every step of the way, our industry is regulated, and every process is monitored by the state's oil and gas commissions to ensure that no citizens in any of the communities we drill in are impacted in a negative way.
Thank you, Chris, for sharing your commitment to America's energy security to strengthen local and state economies and fuel job growth. Today's healthcare providers stress prevention and awareness to encourage patients to take a proactive approach for optimum health. We hope you learn from our expert resources today and get the information you'll need to help yourself and a loved one. Take time to enjoy life, even if it's a short getaway, to recharge your energy. Share your story with us at RosalieArcherShow.com, Facebook, Twitter, or even check us out. Our Rosalie's resources are featured on YouTube at Rosalie Pro. See you next week. Will the solutions to this show's issues help you or a loved one? Find shows like this and others on our website at RosalieArcherShow.com.
Okay.